Hi and welcome to Knit with Hannah. I'm Hannah. I'm here with Knitting Natter to help you learn to knit the easy way. What I have here for you today is a baby hat. It's got big square corners up the top here. I put a snowflake pattern along the base and I'm going to put a couple of rustic pom-poms at the top here. Now, this can be a plain hat, it doesn't have to have the Fair Isle on it. It could be stripes, it could be anything you choose. But with the square top here, just putting pom-poms on it just gives it that extra flair. So I'm going to take my contrast yarn, so I'm using the same yarn as I used for the snowflakes, and I'm going to give myself maybe 12 inches at the end, and then coming from the ball I'm going to wrap the yarn around my fingers 60 times. There we go, that's approximately 60 times. So I'm just taking them off my fingers there and I'm going to hold on to it with one hand. I'm going to cut the other end of the yarn like that, and I'm going to wrap this yarn around and give myself a couple of slip knots there, which means I'm wrapping it and then pulling the loose yarn through the wrap and tightening it, just making sure it doesn't get caught. And we're kind of creating a belt around the middle of it there. I'm just going to do that a couple more times around and then take that loose yarn through the loop there and tighten it. So we're making a belt around the centre of that. It's like a little bow. So now we have that secure in the centre, I can cut all the loops on both ends. There we go, that's one done. Now this is the end that I started with. Just make sure I go through all of these loops. I think that's it. Now this looks like a pretty sparse pom-pom, but that's the idea. And also remember, we're going to be sewing it to the hat. So one end of it is actually going to be flattened. So what I'm now going to do is just bring all of those ends together, really tighten that off, and with that long end free here, so I've still got a sewing thread, just going to neaten that so that they all look nearer the same length. There we go, that's better. We still have a little bit of inconsistency, and I can just go around the edges here with the scissors and neaten that up as I see fit. There we go. And now I'm just going to take my needle and put that through the long end that I've left, and very simply sew it to the corner here. Just going to go through the knitting. This is a tapestry needle, so it has a blunt end rather than a pointed end, and that is purposefully done so that I don't pierce the thread as I go through. If I had a pointed end, I'm more likely to tear the yarn, and we don't want that to happen. When you're a sewer, if you're using a sewing machine and you're sewing jersey fabric, you do use blunt-ended needles rather than pointed-ended needles, so it doesn't tear the jersey fabric like a t-shirt fabric. That's just the way you do it. I'm just going to sew this to the top corner here with a couple of stitches. And go through that belt that we created a couple of times as I secure it. Make sure I don't catch any ends in that as I go through. And that really is a rustic pom-pom. And then when I've done that, I can go into the hat, just bring the needle through the top there. And I have a seam at the top here, so I'm just going to give myself a little knot there, tightening that up so that it's secure. And I will take that loose thread just through the top seam. And I can cut that thread now. There we go. That's my first corner pom-pom. I will make another one. And there we are. There we are, that was good going. I do hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and if you're looking for some hats that you can knit that are a bit more Christmassy, then do go along to my website and you'll find everything you need. Yeah, do let me know if you try and make any pom-poms for yourself. You can show me here, you can subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments, or do go along to a Facebook page, and I'm in a Facebook group, Knit with Hannah. You can post any pictures in that group and let me know your rustic pom-poms and how they've gone too. Thanks very much for joining me today. I'll see you again soon, I hope. Happy knitting!